Okay, ready to continue here. I just had a thought. The game has not really given us much of an opportunity to get to know Damien. Our couple of visits with him have been pretty brief. Makes me wonder if there is ever a chance to actually ensure he doesn't die, or if he's just there to be a substitute murder victim if I hang out with Anna. Anyway, we got a message from Bryce. And B4 says, if you don't meet with Bryce, his status will change to abandoned. Was a good thing then that I'm going to hang out with Bryce. But he left us a message to meet with him. Let's meet with him. Oh, that must be him. I definitely don't want to abandon him. That's the exact opposite of what I've been trying to do this run. Hey, Erika. Hey, Bryce. I know you said you wanted to get out of that small apartment of yours, but I'm not sure if mine is much different. Well, I figured yours couldn't be any worse than mine, and now that I'm seeing it from the inside, I have to say the council didn't do a bad job with it at all. I assume it's appropriate for someone with my status. Whereas the chief of police has to make do with whatever he can get. You said it was only temporary. It is, but I'm really getting sick of it, to be honest. I can imagine. Anyway, what's the plan? Plan? We gotta do something, right? If you want some entertainment, I could offer you a bookshelf for a little bit. Here, Sheridan and the Scepter of Sovereignty should be enough to last you a while. No thanks, I have enough fiber in my diet already. I suppose you're not a fan of reading then. Why would I visit you just to read some crummy book? Besides, I do read from time to time. What do you read? Signs, menus, magazines. Oh, what a coincidence. I read video games. And also other books, like actual books. But I definitely read more video games than books. Especially with the game I'm playing right now. Although, does it really count as a video game, or is it more of a book? I mean, it's literally called a visual novel. Anyway, I don't think that counts. Let me take a look around your apartment, then. Hopefully he doesn't notice the empty pill bottle. Feel free, though I'm not sure if there's anything special about it. Actually, what would be really funny is if I cracked all those eggs, and he was asking, why does my counter smell like eggs? He is heading towards the kitchen. So that's what you're really looking for. Guess what? I found something. He showed me one of the cheap bottles of wine that had been in the cupboard since I arrived. Why don't you raid the fridge while you're at it? No thanks. This will do for now. Oh, I get it. You want to play spin the bottle. Sure, we just gotta empty it out first. I assume you don't mean emptying it into the sink. Of course not. That'd be a terrible waste. A terrible waste of the second cheapest wine from the store. I don't know how you humans are with stuff like that, but here we don't throw away perfectly good things. Humans are pretty bad about throwing away perfectly good things. I'm not sure this wine would qualify as perfectly good. Hey, at least it's not the absolute bottom of the barrel. Now, are you going to help me with this, or not? Oh, boy. It was only a matter of time before I'd wind up having another drinking question. Hello there, GeoCatboy. Welcome to the stream. I am currently playing Angels with Scaly Wings. In this game, I am a human ambassador sent to a dragon world in order to do some trade where they give us these really helpful generators that will help us back in our world. These generators are like really efficient. And I get to date some dragons in the meantime. So, drinking wine. I hope he won't mind if I let him drink all of it. No thanks, it's all yours. If you say so. You aren't planning on drinking it all at once, right? That's nothing for me. This bottle would be about 2 beers, I think. Maybe even less than that. I opened the kitchen cabinet to find an appropriate vessel for Bryce, but when I turned to ask him about it, he had already opened the bottle and was suckling on it like a baby. I wish I could see that. I suppose that means I won't have to do any dishes. How does it taste? Like wine, I guess. Cheap wine. Besides, I thought you were more of a beer person. Hey, I take what I can get. Just a few minutes later, the bottle had been emptied completely. I'm not sure if drinking like a dragon is a phrase, but if it isn't, it should be. Hey, not everyone can drink like me. I see. And now we can finally play Spin the Bottle. Don't we need more people for that? Dang, you're right. Now I drink all of this for nothing. Somehow, I think the whole spin the bottle thing was just an excuse so you could drink the wine. What? I would never do such a thing. Of course not. Well, we could still play it with just the two of us. At that point, we wouldn't even need the bottle anymore. Come on, where's your sense of funness? Okay, I'm going to agree to this, but only because you use the word funness in the sentence. Is that even a word? We're here to relax. You should lighten up a bit. It's a bit hard to lighten up given everything that's been happening here. If anything, it's worse now than it's ever been. Raisa's actions are threatening our agreement, and with it, the survival of everyone I know back home. Unfortunately, Raisa's actions, in his mind, are to the benefit of everyone at home. But what really takes the cake is that he may have had it out for me because I'm helping all of you. Not yet. You want to have this conversation right now? Alright, let's have it. Just let it all out. Yeah, why don't we talk about Maverick? He may have it out for me because he thinks I'm working with Raisa. And me? I'm just right here, right in the middle of this whole mess, just trying to make the best of it. You know you're only involved with the investigation because we needed your help, right? I know. And I'm doing what I can, but that doesn't mean it's making the situation any easier. You think I don't know that? Me, I'm the one responsible for every action our police is taking in this matter. Wait, I read that wrong. Let me try that again. You think I don't know that? Me, the one responsible for every action our police is taking in this matter? If you want to go ahead and blame someone, just blame me. I can take it. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this whole situation is something I'm not very comfortable with. And whose responsibility is that, huh? However you look at it, it's me. Hey there, Leonomai! Oh boy, been a long time since I've seen your name. How goes it? It's good, been busy? I assume a good kind of busy. I've definitely been busy myself, mainly with, like, streaming and Let's Plays. Right now I'm in the process of re-recording a Let's Play. Decided a re-recording would be better than the original streams. Getting the re-recordings posted at YouTube. Of an RPG Maker game, in fact. Let me think. Odette's Magical Menagerie. It is a game that stars a skunk who protects a set of evil flowers by transforming any trespassers into animals. It's a neat little game. Anyway, back to this game. I was the one who didn't listen to Maverick back when he had his suspicions about Reza. If we had acted then, this whole thing might not have spiraled out of control like it did. Despite what you might think about him, he was the one who found Reza's hideout, even after I forced him into sick leave. We were practically at Reza's front door, and he still got away somehow. If I had done something different, we might have caught him. Let this be my official apology to you. I apologize for anything I might have done to wrong you. I'm sorry for putting you through all this and having to involve you in our work while trying to fix this whole mess, because in the end, this is all my responsibility. Aww. I want to hug him. You don't need to apologize for anything. He hurled the empty bottle against the wall on the other side of the room, where it shattered into pieces. Do I have a maid? I don't know if I was given a maid. Then what do you want me to do, huh? Oh boy, this angry look is the look I've been wanting to avoid the entire game. I don't know. Aww. I want to hug him even more now. Do you think it's easy for me, seeing so many people die on my watch? Do you think I don't keep asking myself the same questions? What I could have done differently, and if that would have made a difference? I think as chief I'd be used to it by now, but I'm not. How could someone ever get used to this? It's my duty, you know. But I can't save them all. Never could. I remember a quote on an old TV show from the 60s, the 70s. I'm pretty sure the show was Adam 12. And it's a good quote too, especially for police. The moment this stuff doesn't affect you anymore, actually, I forget the quote. The point is, though, that you should always care about this. That it should always affect you. Because it means you care. You know what happened out on patrol today? We found a dead child and her mother in their home in the outskirts of town. Was somebody else that Reza got? No. Never mind, apparently not. The mother died from some sort of illness, and after that, the daughter... This is absolutely Vera and her mother. The mother died from some sort of illness, and after that, the daughter never left her side again, as if she had just given up on life. On some future run, we're going to find a way to help Vera. Which would actually mean that this scene would play out a little bit differently. I don't know whether I will do a Bryce run again, just for the sake of having this scene again. In regards to helping Vera, Buford says, I think you need to for Remy. So that's a Remy run thing, then? Anyway, you try and think how you might explain something like that to the relatives. But I guess in this case we got lucky, because the father was one of Reza's earlier victims. Gosh dang! You've been to more than enough crime scenes by now. How have you remained so calm? Do all those who have died not matter to you? I'm sorry for making you look at a corpse on your very first day here, but you know I had to. Your help here has been invaluable, and it's not like I could ask anyone else. It's the same for me, really. Sure, they could ask someone else to be chief, but if I'm the one who's best suited for the job, who am I to reject that? Otherwise, I'd have to blame myself for every mistake the other chief made. Is that why you drink? It might come as a surprise, but... Actually, the alcoholic police chief used to be a huge stereotype in our world. Really? You wouldn't believe it. Actually, I do. The research about alcoholism in the police force is out there, but the general populace doesn't know about it. It's all just internal documents. Why don't people know? They don't want to know about unhappy things like that. Besides, they trust their chief. If they knew about it, maybe they'd start to have their doubts. I thought it was common knowledge that you visit the bar fairly often. Often enough that you're friends with the bartender. I don't know. Maybe they don't realize how it affects me. They see someone who can drink a lot and does it for fun. They don't realize what it means. What other stereotypes about the police are there in your world? Oh boy, that is a can of worms. That is the biggest one. Well, in that case, maybe the police in this fictional Earth is better than the police in the real Earth. At least, as far as stereotypes go. I see. Well, alcoholism and suicide are both huge problems in law enforcement. Suicide? Yeah. If you have to deal with the things we do on a daily basis, it can affect you in pretty bad ways. Everyone has their breaking point. wound up assuming that Reza is the one who winds up killing Sebastian. And maybe that is the case, but almost have to wonder, what if it was Sebastian taking his own life, and me hanging out with him on that first day is actually what saves him because it gave him some hope for life or something like that. Probably Reza did it, though. We all just cope in our own different ways. Some do it better than others. That's why I'm worried about Maverick right now, and why I wish you'd known him as long as I have. You think he's at his breaking point? He's taking this whole Reza situation very personally. I'm just worried about him, you know. Just like I'm worried about everything else until we can sort out this whole mess. It's personal for me, too. No matter what you may think about Maverick, or what he may think of you, he still found Reza's hideout, which led us to the generators. I guess you have both helped a lot in this investigation. My point with all this is, we're all a very tight-knit group at the police station. Little typo there with tight. Me, Sebastian, Maverick, Naomi, the bond we form on the job is how we know to look out for each other. I can tell you there's nothing else quite like it. You didn't mention Kalinth. I hope we get to meet Naomi sometime. I can tell you, there's nothing else quite like it. What do you think? How many more have to die to stop Reza? If anything, he's more dangerous now than he's ever been before. You know how much depends on how this all turns out. Whatever happens, I'm just glad to have known you. Remember when I told you about the wooden models I'm making? I never told anyone else about that. As much as I like everyone at the department, it's just not something I can talk about with them. You saw us at the barbecue. I'd never hear the end of it. Sorry about the bottle, by the way. I'd clean it up, but... Don't worry about it. It was empty anyway. Thankfully, we appear to be in a room of a hardwood floor. So, easy to sweep up. Heh, that's the Erika I like. Oh, you won't believe what happened with Emira at work. What did? I heeded your advice and told her the truth. Details, Bryce. Tell me everything. Well, the day before yesterday, she tried her thing again, complained about her back pain to get a massage, and asked me if I didn't want to settle down eventually. Oh, she actually came out and said it, huh? At some point, I had enough and just told her outright that I'm not interested in her. For your own sake, I hope you weren't too harsh. Hey, you said I should tell her the truth, so I did. What did you say? Just that I noticed her clear attempts at wooing me and that I'm not interested. That's all. And how did she react? Not much. She just looked at me and said, "Oh, I see." That's all? Yeah, and she stopped with the comments after that. Guess that's not so bad then. You know, I almost wonder if Bryce being taken off the job and made into Emira's temporary bodyguard, if this potential relationship was an ulterior motive for that. Anyway, not so bad. Well, not really. Now she's having me do all kinds of stupid things, like guard the outside of her office door for hours on end. Maybe she's still worried about Reza. The building has its own security, so it's pretty clear she's just doing it to get back at me for rejecting her. She's really good at hiding it, though. I'd never be able to prove it. You won't have to be with her for much longer. Yeah, but I guess you'll just keep wasting my time until it's over. At least you tried to do the right thing. Yeah. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. If I told you that I'm a time traveler from the future, what would you say? I am very curious if I would ask this question on the first run. Time travel? Isn't that something that just happens in bad science fiction novels? Apparently it also happens in a good visual novel. Why only bad science fiction novels in particular? Don't you think there could be a good one? Let's just say all science fiction novels, because they're all bad. Huge generalization aside, what if we are in a science fiction story and time travelers are real? I'd want to see some sort of proof of it first. That's not something you come across every day, after all. What if I confided it to you as a friend? You'd still have to show me proof, or else I'd call you out on the joke. What if I was serious? Well, it's pretty far out. That's the kind of thing someone would make up to scam people for their money or something like that. Alright, let's forget about... Oh, right. The administrator. Let's forget about time travelers. What if I told you there is another human here besides Reza and me? This is getting kind of weird, Erika. Just entertain me for this question. Well, unless you had some sort of proof, I'd call you crazy. As a member of law enforcement, aren't you supposed to follow up on every report? Yes, but that doesn't mean we have to believe everything. If there is no proof, we'll look for proof. If we don't find some, well... Without any proof or leads to follow, there's nothing we can do anyway. I see. By the way, when you and Sebastian went to the farmhouse to go after Reza, you just left me alone with Maverick in the same room. I did? Yeah, I was worried there for a few seconds. Don't you worry about him. You mentioned that you had a talk with him about a week ago, and that didn't end badly for you either. He might be scary, but I don't think you need to be afraid of him. He's got a very strong sense of justice, so he wouldn't do anything to you without a good reason. When we were alone, we had an opportunity to talk where he made his position very clear. Did he threaten you? No, I was honest with him, and in turn, I think he was honest with me as well. Oh, really? Yeah, I had nothing to hide. If he was willing to talk, I wasn't going to turn down the opportunity. How did that go? I think he doesn't suspect me as much anymore. Guess leaving you alone with him wasn't such a bad thing after all. I suppose you could say so. I just did. What's that outside? Fireworks? Yeah, must be the summer festival. You wanted to get out of your apartment, and rather than go to the festival, you came here? The festival isn't really anything special for me anymore. Seen once, seen them all. Besides, it's usually more of a thing for families, really. I see. Are those fireworks people keep talking about? Are those the fireworks people keep talking about? No, they have a fireworks show every evening. Nobody really cares about the first couple of days. It's only on the last day when they bring out the big ones. I usually watch those. Oh, so if there's big explosions, then you care? Well, yeah, but it's a big tradition here. Maybe even an ideological one. You know, everyone in the whole town united under the stars, watching the beautiful fireworks. It's a thing. People have been telling me for the last few days how I just have to see them. You know, you kinda owe it to us as an ambassador to take part in a cultural event like that. I'm going to go anyway, so you don't need to convince me. Wanna come with me? I know all the good viewing spots. Most of the popular ones are usually super crowded, and we probably want to avoid those. I can't really promise anything right now, but I'll keep it in mind. Well, you've got my number, so let me know as soon as you can. Sure thing. You know, those fireworks are also often a couple thing. I'm not surprised. They can set the mood for a romantic evening. Well, they're still going on outside right now. Are you saying you want to go outside and watch? No, I'm saying we could take this conversation elsewhere, namely the bedroom. That is not where I saw this going. The bedroom here is nothing special, I can assure you of that. Well, it's better than the one I have right now. You know, when you slept over last time and we shared the couch, I took it as a sign. Did that mean anything to you? Or was that just two friends sharing a couch that was clearly too small for two people who just wanted to stay friends? Oh boy. I am being put on the spot here. But I think I see a way out. It didn't mean what you thought it meant. It meant exactly what you thought it meant. It didn't mean anything, but we can still make this a romantic evening. I'll go with that one. Oh, really? I didn't know you were interested. I mean, I'm not surprised that this went in this direction. Guess you know now. So, what do you want to do? Well, why don't we make this a little more romantic? Share a glass of wine and see where the evening takes us. I should have another bottle in the kitchen. I'll go fetch it. Sure thing. I went into the kitchen to fetch a bottle of wine and two appropriate vessels, wondering how Bryce would manage a wine glass. When I returned from the kitchen, however, I was met with an unexpected sight. Did he conk out? Oh. The positioning of the bottle is clearly intentional. Is this playthrough about to become adult-rated? B4 says no. I mean, that wasn't necessarily a serious question, but, thanks for answering anyway. Okay, I'm not going to scream, I'm not going to... I don't know. I mean, we've already established that this me is different than the real me. I'm not... Oh gosh, would I? I'm not actually sure if I would or not. It would definitely be weird. I'd definitely be hesitant. But whatever. Like I said, we've already established that this me is not the real me. Let's just go for it. Oh my. Before says, I think as long as you don't scream, you can still go to the fireworks. Bryce sprang to his feet, a somewhat embarrassed look on his face. What is it? No, that was fine. Don't stop. I'm tempted to reload, though, now that I know that it's okay to just refuse. But I am really curious to see where this goes. Not something you've seen here before, huh? Not like that. And then, especially with my kind, they are... Well, I think you can see what I mean. Do you just want to stand there and keep staring? No. Then why don't you come a little closer? Alright. Another free day. Yay me. Okay, at this point there's really no reason to meet with Loram, because I'm not going to get his good ending on this run. And I know the meetings with Remy and Anna are going to go pretty much the same as they did during my first visits with them on the first run, so... Let's get some well-deserved rest. As an aside, I am slightly disappointed that cutscene ended where it did. In the end, I decided to spend the day relaxing in my apartment. I didn't know when things would start to pick up again, so I figured it would be better to get some rest as long as I still could. Hope Leadership. I can't remember if there were 2 cards on the first run of this chapter. After a night of turbulent dreams, my consciousness returned to the shores of the waking world. Today is the big day of the fireworks. Who shall I bring? Bryce? That must be him. I hope you're ready to see the fireworks, because I brought everything we need. Well, I can't imagine that these fireworks will be any better than the fireworks last night. But I'm still going to enjoy this. In front of him, there was a woven basket that was closed at the top. It reminded me a lot of the typical picnic basket. What are you talking about? Snacks and other things. You'll see. Let's go then. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. Where is everyone else? I thought the whole population was watching the fireworks. Well, there are more public spaces, but someone like you would get pushed around a lot in the crowds. Besides, I think you'll appreciate the solitude. If you say so. The fireworks should start any minute now. Out of curiosity, what's your status with me? Impressed. Gosh dang it, what happened to Lorem? Oh, we're definitely getting a proper Lorem run in on the next run. Buford says he drowned looking for treasure. Well, I had wondered about that, actually. Anyway, the fireworks should start any minute now. If you're hungry, you can grab something from the fun basket. Fun basket? That's what I call it. I didn't know snacks were that much fun for you. They certainly can be. Besides, there are other things inside as well. Oh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly as the stillness of the night enveloped us. Soon I heard the sound of the first rocket making its way into the night sky, after which it exploded in a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous noise echoing throughout the land. You remember what happened last time there were fireworks? Is that what the fun basket is for? Actually, no. Not unless you feel adventurous. We're already outside. That's pretty adventurous, I'd say. Suit yourself. Bryce opened the basket, feeling around in it with one of his claws. Meanwhile, my gaze wandered to the illuminated night sky. Suddenly, a terrible realization hit me. Considering how public of an event this was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks, now would be the best time for Reza to make his move. Not only was the village basically deserted, but the sounds of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving him as much security as he would ever have. As the portal had been repaired by the mysterious person I met... Oh yeah, to recap, we skipped that scene, so the portal was repaired by the administrator. Now was the perfect time for Reza to make his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. Bryce, I think we need to go, now. What? Do you want to take this somewhere else? I know where Reza is. What are you talking about? Are you sure? I'd bet my life on it. Oh boy. On the first run, that would be a lose-lose situation. Hopefully I can actually win this time. Then we have no time to lose. Let's go. We arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. I guess I don't have to tell Bryce to go looking for help. While I checked out the portal itself, Bryce looked around the area. I was glad to see it was still turned off. Had it been used recently, it would either still be running or in the process of recharging. Reza was still here somewhere. Just look at this. What is it? Eggs. A suitcase full of them. Did he steal more eggs? Or is it just food eggs? I hope it's just food eggs. No. No, it's not. So he broke into the hatchery again. Looks like it. He hasn't used the portal yet, though. How could he? Isn't it broken? Not anymore. Looks like someone repaired it. Then he must be close. But where is he? What is so important that he won't leave without it? The underground building. The administrator had told me about all the prowess of the generators within. It probably hadn't been hard for Reza to guess the same, or to try stealing it from a place he knew would be even more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. That must be it. So, what do we do now? We could wait for him here, but I think I've got an even better plan. What is it? Let's just do it like last time. You go in first, and I'll stay behind and out of sight. If you meet him, you can confront him and maybe talk him down, but if he tries to flee, he'll still have to get through me first. Alright, let's go. I assume by last time you mean the abandoned farmhouse. Bryce led me to the dig site where they had unearthed the building's entry. Once we got nearer, he stayed behind and motioned for me to go forward. He slowly followed me, trying to stay in cover as I entered the building. Inside, I was met with a long, illuminated hallway that was lined with doors on both sides. Come to think of it, if Bryce is going to just stay outside waiting the entire time, this'll definitely play out differently. In fact, it's worth noting the game has not given me the option to skip the cutscene, although I was not planning to begin with. Although Beerforce says Reza's dialogue is a bit different in this ending specifically, so on the next run, I'll want to pay attention to the dialogue again, even if we've already gotten a good ending. Anyway, since the lights were already on, Reza had to be very close. I wasn't surprised at the building still having electricity, since its generators were also powering the portal. Suddenly, one of the doors opened, and out came Reza, carrying a large cardboard box. When he spotted me, he set it on the ground. If I could, I'd punch him in the face right now, before he had the chance to pull out his gun. There you are, Erika. You don't know how glad I am to see you. I've wanted to talk with you for so long. I even tried to contact you, but that didn't work with one of them on your tail the whole time. But talking can wait. Now that you're here, we've got everything. Come on, help me with this and let's get out of here. No. No? What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything until you answer a few questions. You want to talk now? Sure, why not? We've probably got a few hours if we wanted to. None of them will disturb us here. We could even get the backup generator as well after we send this one over. When did you realize we were in the past? How did you know about the comet? I've known for a while. It's what I wanted to talk with you about when we met at the portal. How about you? I only recently found out. Looking back, it just seems so obvious to me now. I'm not sure how exactly you figured it out, but there are so many dang clues when you think about it. I mean, how could a supposedly completely different, independent civilization speak the same language as us? Well, apparently the answer is not video game logic. What was this supposed to be? An alternate reality? No, it was just a different time. When was there ever anything resembling these creatures on Earth? It's not hard to make the jump from dragons to dinosaurs when some of them here look pretty dang near identical to dinosaurs we knew about. And then there are also the prehistoric fruits, the plants, and the fact that their technological level is nearly exactly the same as our own past society. But we don't even have to think that abstract. You just needed to look at the sky. The sun, the moon, even the stars are the same. Constellations change over time, of course, but you know we could account for that stuff. You could have just pointed your PDA at the sky, and it would have told you the time period, including the imminent threat of being eradicated. You could even see the meteorite in the sky, and how it would change its position day after day. Are you done being condescending? I guess so. You killed those dragons, Reza. What are you talking about? I didn't kill anyone. Don't lie to me. You did it. I remember it now. What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. Are you telling me you weren't the one who stole the generators and those other things these past 2 weeks? No, I was in hiding. After what happened at the portal, I didn't dare to do anything that could jeopardize our mission. Why didn't you just come back? How could I? They wanted to arrest me. I was a fugitive. I was surprised they didn't apprehend you, but then you weren't the one who shot at one of their police officers. Come on, Reza. The murders only started happening after you were gone, and the police have gathered plenty of evidence. You're the only one with a motive. All I did this whole time was try to find ways to contact you so you could talk to our people and figure something out for me. Why would I escalate the situation like that? Besides, how did you know so much about what the police were doing? I've been helping them because you were going about this the wrong way. I didn't kill anyone, I'm telling you. They have proof, Reza. I've seen it myself. Just turn yourself in and we'll go from there. Nobody can help you if you don't do that. I can't remember. Did we see the message that said that the blood from the victim matched the blood on Reza's rag or whatever? I might have been skipping through that part of the dialogue, actually. But I am slightly confused by what's going on here. Is Reza lying? Before says he didn't deny it before. Exactly! I'm fairly certain that he's still the actual murderer. I mean, besides anything, he's got the eggs lying outside. Anyway, they approve. Seen it myself. Just turn yourself in and we'll go from there. Nobody can help you if you don't do that. No, I'm not going to turn myself in for something I didn't do. Not for these beasts. Who knows what they'll do to someone like me in captivity? How else do you expect this to end? I'm not doing anything until I've got free passage back home. Actually, I could just leave this place right now. The portal is fixed after all. That's not going to happen. Let me ask you one thing. How exactly are you planning to stop me? I'm the one with the gun here. You would shoot me to save your own hide? Only if you insist on standing in my way. You're not going to get away that easily. What are you going to do, huh? I'll be long gone by the time you call the cops. I don't need to, Reza. They're already here. Suddenly, Bryce and Maverick were standing next to me. Okay, so the showdown is still going to go on in here. You planned this, didn't you, Erika? Traitor! And to think I let you distract me with such a cheap trick, just because I thought there was still a shred of humanity within you. He pulled out his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Just let me go, and I'll forget this thing ever happened. You've got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Reza? Do you think this is worth risking your life for? I've been risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during that time? Sip champagne in your nice apartment? Besides, this generator and the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity! Suddenly, the administrator came out of the shadows in the hallway behind Reza. Oh yeah, I forgot she showed up. No, they belong to me. Confused, Reza spun around, aiming his gun at the newcomer who was slowly walking towards him. Who the bleep are you? Freeze! I said freeze! Okay, I am 99% certain that Reza and the administrator had actually met during the first run. Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free. You can't stop all of us. If you say so. I wonder if there will be a way to save the administrator. He pulled the trigger, and the administrator fell to the ground with a dull thud that knocked her mask off. Still don't know who that is. My first instinct was to run away, but as Bryce and Maverick started charging, so did I. Reza was quick with his aim, shooting both Maverick and Bryce twice before pointing his gun in my direction. I quickly dove behind the box with the generator for cover, just as Reza pulled the trigger multiple times. Only a single shot came out and lodged itself in the box. Though I was seemingly unharmed, a loud hiss began to emanate from my cover. Oh, gosh dang it. Everybody run! It's going to explode! I started running towards the exit and was soon overtaken by both Reza and Maverick. I looked back over my shoulder to see Bryce grab the administrator before he started running as well. Just as I reached the outside, the explosion knocked me off my feet. There was a rain of small debris as I heard the walls of the building shaking in their foundation. As I looked up, I saw Reza fumbling with his gun as Maverick pounced on him. He didn't fire off all bullets. I'm certain of that this time. He bit into Reza's neck and strained for a second before ripping a large chunk out of it. Oh gosh. That definitely did not happen in the first run. Reza wasn't moving when Maverick walked off and came towards me. Where is Bryce? I looked towards the entry, which was now mostly blocked by debris. He must still be inside. Then what are you still waiting for? Come on. We ran towards the rubble, only to see the administrator crawling through a small hole as she removed the last bits of debris that separated her from the outside world. Afterwards, she laid down, panting heavily. Water began to trickle from the new opening. It's the water pockets. The building must be flooded. And he's still inside. I'll clear away the rubble, and you try to find him. We both set to work as I stuck my head into the hole that the administrator had crawled out of. The place was flooded completely, but luckily, even through the water, I could see Bryce as he also tried to clear away the rubble from the other side. Quickly, I pulled my head back out of the hole. He's on the other side, trying to get through. Who knows how long he's been underwater? Give him some air! I took a deep breath before I went in again. I extended my arm to grab Bryce's muzzle. Luckily, he seemed to understand what I was going for as he moved into my reach. I pressed my lips to his muzzle, giving him some much-needed air. I drew back, repeating the same process a few times while Maverick cleared away the rubble, until eventually Bryce surfaced, panting heavily. I'm sure that was supposed to be, like, him gasping for air initially, but, looked a little bit angry. Are you alright? Yes. Let's get away from here before the empty water pockets cave in or something. Maverick carried the administrator while we went uphill towards the portal. Well, he's dead. When I came across Reza's corpse, I took the time to strip him of his gun and ammo, not wanting the dragons to find them. Why? Meanwhile, the administrator was set on the ground, and Bryce checked out everyone's injuries. Luckily, it seemed both Bryce's and Maverick's were comparatively minor and didn't need any immediate attention. The administrator was not so lucky, however. She squirmed as Bryce moved her clothes out of the way to get a good look at her bullet wound. No, don't. As I returned to them, I heard Bryce audibly gasping. Dang it. Is it bad? Erika, do you remember the first victim? Uh-oh. The blood on his muzzle from fighting back was neither yours nor Reza's, but still distinctly human. I thought it was an error, or that our DNA tests weren't compatible. But Reza doesn't have a matching bite wound from him. She does. Well, that answers my question about not remembering them confirming the matching DNA. 'Cause this run, the DNA didn't match. Well, there was some accidental foreshadowing on my part. I considered the implications of Bryce's words. Whereas Reza usually didn't hesitate to admit the killings to reach a goal he had thought noble, he had denied any such actions this time. Of course, there was no use ignoring the evidence before us. This could only mean one thing. Why did you do it, Izumi? Why did you kill them? He did kill them, you know. Just not in this timeline. Even if you can even remember my name now, then you should also remember what else he would have done. How he would enslave them to use as weapons back in the future, and how he doesn't care what happens to this world. I had to do it in order to put you on the same trail he would have. If I had come to you during the first night and tried to explain to you that I am a time traveler who had to kill in order to prevent a suffering that is magnitudes greater, genocide, slavery, would you have believed me? Who could have known that sometimes even Reza can change? If he didn't kill anyone, There would have been no investigation, and you wouldn't have known how dangerous he is when he shows his true colors. You just saw that even in this scenario, he wouldn't shy away from shooting others to get what he wants. Besides, I didn't want to risk jeopardizing our experience by changing things. It could erase all the progress we have made and the things we learned over the many times we've done this now. I did try out one or two different options during our first meeting with Reza. Did that affect him? If I didn't shove you out of the way in the cellar when the light fixture came down, you would have died then and there. That's what happened the first few times. There was a lot of trial and error involved to get where we are now. You wouldn't believe the lengths I have to go to every single time and the consequences if I don't. You could not have followed the same path and arrived here if I didn't kill them. The fact that you remembered that it was originally Reza who did it only proves just how important this is. Only if the events stay the same long enough will you be able to learn from them and remember, despite the effects the repeated teleportations have on your memory. This only tells me that I made the right call. If Reza had nothing to do with it, then what was he doing when he was trying to take the generator? I slipped him a note he thought came from you. It said to meet here and take the generator before you'd leave together. He played his part well enough so you couldn't tell the difference. So, he really did think that I planned all of this? That I lured him here to have him arrested by Bryce and Maverick? For all he's done, I think he deserves to know what betrayal feels like. I've listened to this long enough now. It was you, and that's all that matters to me. No, Maverick, don't do that. I'll tear you apart! Bryce tried to go between them, but Maverick aimed his shoulder squarely into Bryce's bullet wound. Bryce collapsed, convulsing in pain as Maverick pounced on Izumi and tore into her. Meanwhile, I put a few bullets into the gun I took from Reza before I aimed at Maverick and pulled the trigger several times. Maverick collapsed instantly and looked at me with a pained expression. Beneath him lay Izumi, dead. Why? He was trembling and took a few slow steps towards me, only stopping when I aimed the gun at him. Stop right there. She killed them, and you protect her? We needed her. I told you I'd show no mercy if I found the killer. Just when I thought I could trust you, I should have known you'd shoot me just like Reza did. No, it's not like that. Then why? I don't think I can explain. Well, I better dang well try. He shook his head weakly. Thanks for proving me right, Erika. Do you remember when I confronted you a while back and asked you to explain your reasons? You told me that you both just came as ambassadors and nothing more. He gave a weak chuckle as a trail of blood slowly ran down from the corner of his muzzle. What an interesting kind of ambassador you turned out to be. His head slumped as he closed his eyes. He was dead. Gosh dang it. Hey, Bryce. I'm afraid I've got some pretty bad news for you. What is it? We were able to power the portal again, even without the generators from the lab, but we still couldn't re-establish contact with humanity. Why not? Ever since the portal got sabotaged and was repaired, the coordinates, the connection to humanity's portal, it just isn't there anymore. Can't you locate it again? We don't know how. We found a different set of coordinates in there, but for some reason, we aren't able to use them. I know, only I can. They are for traveling back in time to the day of my arrival. I guess you really are a time traveler, huh? Now that you know everything, that really shouldn't surprise you. What are you going to do now? Well, I guess you returning to humanity is out of the picture. So it's either staying here, or using the portal to return to the day you arrived here. All that time travel business is too complicated for me. Izumi had it all figured out. I'm wondering what she would think about this outcome. All she ever wanted was to save you dragons, just like Reza only wanted to save humanity. Neither shied away from killing people, so maybe you shouldn't look to them as pillars of morality. Either way, I'm not sure if you really have much of a choice here. They don't actually know if they can stop the comet. Of course they'll try, but without the generators from the lab, it's not looking great for us. I initially came here to help humanity, but if I go back with what I know now, maybe I can help you too. At any rate, it was nice while it lasted. Hey, no need for melancholy now. It's not as if we're not going to see each other again. Not that I remember. Soon, I was preparing to return to the day of my arrival. Despite her actions, Izumi had made a good point. Thinking about the knowledge I had now, I realized just how important it was to remember and how it would help me during my next attempt. No doubt, the teleportation would erase some of my memory again, but I could think of a few ways to retain some knowledge. Not only did I take my own written account of what had happened with me, but there were also physical reminders I could bring to remember, such as Izumi's mask and cloak. Okay, there were... I've been under suspicion for the past several minutes or so. When Izumi brought up that she had been using time traveling and that sort of thing. Oh, how to explain this? I'm now under the impression that I didn't actually die at the end of the first run, but rather maybe Izumi brought me to the portal and sent me back into the past. Which is basically why I can remember things playing out the first run. Hopefully this does not end in me having to take over Izumi's role and performing the murders myself. Probably not. I'm probably going back in time in such a way that further runs will possibly have Izumi during the murdering. Before says, well, you died several times technically when the light fell on you before the first run. Not really sure what you mean. Anyway, with her gone, I was now the one with the most experience. As I made my way back to the portal, I realized that in order to make this mission a success, to save everyone, this time I would just have to save myself. I'm not sure what I mean by that. Though it sounds like maybe I am planning on going back in time and taking over the administrator role. So, technically another bad ending. I assume this means that I did not actually succeed in getting Bryce's good ending. No, Beerfar says that was a good ending. Certainly didn't feel like a good ending. Well, there's definitely going to be a third run, and probably a fourth run and a fifth run, especially if I want to try to get Lorem's good ending. Okay, Beerfar says in his bad ending, Bryce doesn't make it. Kind of think of it, on the first run, I don't think Lorem made it out of the building, did he? Well, we're about to hit the title screen. Let's see if Bryce is silhouetted or filled in. Achievement unlocked, Optimist. You have seen your first good ending. You have seen Bryce's good ending. Well, that definitely confirms it. Achievement unlocked, Murderer. It's no longer night on the title screen either. And Bryce is not silhouetted. So if I get Lorem's good ending, that means Lorem will not be silhouetted. Well, good to know. Anyway, I am out of time at this point, which is just as well. We're done with the second run, and next time I will be doing my third run. If you enjoyed today's stream, feel free to give me a follow. I stream this every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.